Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to yoga. Today we're going to do a yoga session that relieves some tension in your shoulders and hips. Let's start with breathing. Take a seat where you can be relaxed and alert. Feel the sits bones, the knees, the feet sinking down into the earth. Draw up through the spine to the back lower area of the skull and the roof of the mouth. Lifting up there. Receiving the breath through nose, throat, into lungs, and giving it back. Come into the time of the body, a slower time. Relaxing down through diaphragm, the abdominal wall. Shoulder blades resting quietly against the rib cage. Take a few more long breaths here to come into awareness. Come into a stabilizing breath that runs up and down the spine, opening the central channel of the subtle energies of our body. A stabilizing breath in this time of struggles, grief. Centering our spirits, our energies. One more spinal breath. Now we'll turn to Nadi shodana to balance our energies. This is a breath on each side of the spine. Bring the fingers up in a peace sign, let the peace sign come down, and the thumb will come to the right nostril, the ring finger will come to the left nostril. If you do this differently, it's fine. Bring the thumb against the right nostril, breathe in through the left nostril, bringing the breath up from below the navel, up through the nostril. Pause for just a moment. Ring finger comes to the left nostril and exhale down the right side. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. And continue at your own rate. Balancing this abundance of late summer. Bringing balance between our abundance and the suffering of many, fleeing violence, hungry. Abundance in the time of earthquake and war, and mice in the fields. And the next time you exhale out of the left nostril, let that be the last time. Bring hands to the side, stretch the fingers out to the sides, open up in a big sun breath, Bringing the hands together above the head. Pause for a moment. And exhale down. Inhale up. Welcome the sun. And one last time, letting the sun warm the heart and open it. And remove anything that's underneath you that's high. And then perhaps you would like a blanket underneath your hips. We'll start with a side bend, opening up. These side bends relieve the tension in the shoulders and in that muscle that raises up the shoulder blades. A cool wind blows on summer evenings, stirring the wheat. One more time to each side. The wheat bends. The leaves of the peach trees rustle in the night ahead. And come back. Bring the hands to the side and bring the shoulders up to the ears for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let them down. One more time up for 3, 2, and 1, and down. Bring one hand to the opposite knee, one hand behind, just turning to the side to begin some twist in the back, side to side, several times. Then brings our arms straight out, fingers reaching out to the sides, turning through the waist, keeping arms and shoulders and eyes in one position, letting the torso turn you from side to side. Not so far around, but the twist comes up into the middle back. Then coming back through center, let one leg be bent and the other one coming up and over so that the arm can come to the other side of the knee, hand comes to the back for a little bit more of a twist. Keep the back straight, lifting up with each inhale to the crown and exhaling round. Slowly the fruit ripens, baskets and baskets from a single tree. And come around to the same on the opposite side. Feeling the spiral up from hips through waist, up behind the ribs. And release around. Now extend the legs out in front. Flex the feet and point. Flex and point. One more time. Then flexing, reach out with the fingers straight towards the horizon. Knees are soft, stretching out. Then bring the hands back behind, pressing down and up through the spine. Continue coming over the toes forward and then pushing down with the hands and opening through the chest slightly. Some fruit rots every year, and for a few weeks there's too much. Before and after, nothing. Now bend the knees, coming into a diamond shape with the soles of the feet together, hands on the knees. And inhale as the sternum rises and gaze rises, and exhale as the back arches back. Feeling that stretch through the chest and the stretch through the spine. One more time. Come up through center. Bring the feet back a little bit farther, just as is comfortable for you. Hands on ankles or feet or around the toes. Find your comfortable position. Inhale up through the belly, pulling the belly forward a bit as you press down through the sacrum area, down through the tailbone. And come forward just a bit. Inhale back up. Exhale just a few inches over, pressing down through the inner thighs as you press down through the tailbone and lift through the belly. And come back. And this time, doing the same, but perhaps you now want to bring a C curve to the spine, stretching between the vertebrae. And inhale back up. Bring the feet wide. We'll come into windshield wiper legs to open up through the hips. Letting the knees just float back and forth. Letting the hips rise. Between the rows of wheat, you can see the mice flashing and scurrying across the earth. Now let the arm enter in, opening up to each side. Next time you come over, bring both hands behind that front leg. So the arms are straight, and there is a twist as that hip rises. Holding here for a moment. Allowing the breath to run through the torso. Then letting the body come down so that the forehead comes down onto the hands and hip rises farther. If you need to bring the knees a little closer together, that's fine here. Inhale as you push up and come over to the other side. First, bringing hands back. Hands are against the mat or floor. Arms are straight. And the gaze is towards the back corner of the room. Then lowering the body to wherever is comfortable for you. Perhaps forehead comes to the tops of the hands. Push through the hands as you inhale back up. We'll cross the legs once again. Bring one arm up, and this is a little different than we're used to. We're going to put the crown or the side of the crown of the head into the crook of the elbow and let it rest into that crook of the elbow. So we're getting some stretch on the one side, but we're slackening the muscles on the other side. If you ever have pain in the neck, let the head go towards that painful side because it relaxes it and softens it. And releasing that hold, come to the other side. Let the head rest easily into the top of the arm. The wheat towers above the mice, churning as the summer wind blows. And let the head come up. Now bring the hands to cradle the head. Inhale, head into hands. And exhale as chin comes down towards the chest. Just a gentle pull. And 2 more times. Pausing as you wish. Coming back to center. Legs come out in front once again. This is a Tibetan yoga move called tightening. You tighten the senses and then we will relax the senses. Inhale, arms straight up, feet are flexed. Then bring hands down to the thighs. Then bring the elbows back behind the body with the palms facing down. So I'm in this position. Senses are open here as you inhale. Eyes open, tongues relaxed, fingers and toes are relaxed. And then as you exhale, fingers and toes curl in, body tightens, eyes squinch up, and tongue reach the tongue back towards its root, back in the mouth, throat. And then inhale, everything relaxes and opens. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, and exhale, tighten everything. Continue letting the inhale and exhale be equal. Stimulating the senses. And opening the joints of the hands and feet, eyes, tongue. One more time. And relax. Bring the feet together, the soles of the feet together. This is also a Tibetan yoga move. Bring the arms up. Then elbows come out and fingers drop down. And with the elbows still out, they go down along the side and then open up. So bringing them down. The inhale is as you bring the arms up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. A bit of an awkward movement, but we're building towards doing a little bit more Tibetan yantra yoga, it's called, during the fall. And relax down. Move the blanket from underneath you and come down to a lying position. When you get here, take a nice long stretch. Let all the tension of the past days, of this day, flow out of fingers and toes, opening up through heart and stomach and intestines. Raise the leg up and rotate the ankle 4 or 5 times in one direction and then the other. As joints open up, our bodies and minds open up. Heel goes up towards ceiling. Knee can be soft as it needs to be. But feeling some opening through the calf and the hamstrings. Turning the toes a bit towards the shoulder, perhaps coming a centimeter or 2 closer to the chest. Open that leg out to the side. Arm reaches out to the other side. Inhale, leg up and over midline. Turning the sole of the foot perhaps towards the other wall. Always coming back to the breath, to the space within. And inhale back up. Hug that leg to the chest. Reach down with the opposite heel. Bring the knee over towards the armpit. Feel the opening through the groin. And release the leg down. Inhale, left leg up. Turn the ankle. And the other direction. Then heel towards ceiling, opening in the back of the leg. Toe comes towards the shoulder, perhaps a little farther towards the chest. Open the leg to the side with some support from the hand. Other arm reaches out. Feel the opening through the abdominal area, through the shoulder. Inhale, leg back up and over. Give the knee a hug. Stretch down through the opposite heel. Bring knee to armpit. Then bring the other leg up, also to the armpit, and come into happy baby. Moving any way you would like, maybe rolling back and forth, maybe kicking up. Stretching out like a baby into the world. Now bring the knees so that they're bent above the hips and cradle the head with the hands. Tuck the chin. Strong through the muscles below the navel. Reach one foot out and one up. The knee comes up to the chest, drawing in through pelvic floor. At whatever rate you would like, toning the abdominal muscles. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the soles together as the head comes back and the arms reach out from the shoulder. Knees are bent and soles are together. Feeling the weight through the hips and the shoulder blades and the back of the skull. Perhaps coming back to a mental polarized Nadi shodana, breathing up one side of the body and then breathing in the other side of the body. This is a calming breath, and one, if you can't sleep at night, that you can do. Sometimes mentally at night is better, where you can use your hand on your nose for a while and then come into a mental breathing on each side. Now we're going to straighten one leg and bring the other ankle under the thigh. So I'm in this kind of position with one ankle under the thigh and the other leg straight out. Opening through the groin. Then switch legs. Other ankle under the thigh. Find a comfortable place here, always adapting as you need to. Release that, roll over onto the side, and we're just going to stretch the quad here. So finding a comfortable place, head could be supported by the hand or it could be down. Taking the foot in the hand or some part of the leg and stretching, opening through the front of the hip and along the front of the quad, and relaxing through the hamstrings. This too allows the calf and the hamstring to soften, to slacken. Release, and just turn over and do the other side in the same way. You can just turn over. The moon is full. A strange sound comes from the field. Maybe the wind. Release the quad And we'll come up to a standing position. Bring the feet wide apart. And we're going to come down about 2 feet in front of the feet with the hands wide. So bring the arms up, then soften the knees, bringing the hands down about 2 feet in front, wide as the feet, or just about as wide as the feet. Holding this position. This one is a good posture for the stomach. Important to protect our stomach in these times of so much fruit and vegetables. Then walk the hands back. Bring one hand to the opposite ankle and open up on the side. Come over to the other side and open. Bring hands to center, back towards the feet, and bend the knees. Then come up, perhaps rubbing the hands up over the thighs. And we'll do that one more time. Reach up. Hands wide, 2 feet in front of the feet. Hand to opposite ankle, open. Other side, open. Hands down in center, knees bend, and come up. Come into a mountain pose with feet just below the hips. Some bend to the knees, softness in the knees. Feel the energy coming up from the arches, up the internal sides of the legs. Feel some space between the groin and the back of the waist, the kidneys, and some space between the kidneys and the collarbone. Lifting up and giving space and breath. Relax down through throat and jaw and down through the spine, shoulder blades. Some lifting from the base of the neck up through the base of the skull and the roof of the mouth. The head balanced easily, right on the shoulders. Now bring the arms out in front of you, and as if you're pulling paddles on a rowboat, bring them back. Soft knees, pulling back, elbows come back behind you. This gives exercise to the rhomboids, to muscles in the back that help you have good posture and also opens you in the chest. One more pull on the rowboat. Then bring hands behind the body, clasping them down below the buttocks, opening through the chest, lifting up through the body, and relaxing down through the spine. Feeling that opening in the lungs and the chest. Now legs come wide, and we're going to do a side bend, feeling it through the waist. And so particularly bringing your attention to that waist area and to the muscle that comes up from the hips up to the rib cage, the quadratus lumboris. Stretching. This balances the pelvis. And come back through center. Feet are a little wider than hip width apart. Knees are soft. Hands come onto the sacrum with fingers down. Inhale as sternum rises and gaze rises. Exhale as knees bend, arms cross, and fountain up. 2 more times. Opening up and fountaining up. Then bringing the weight into the feet, knees bend, hips bend, arms come out in front with palms facing each other as the tailbone comes down towards the floor. Inhale, arms up. Exhale them, fingers out towards the horizon, arms pulling back towards the shoulders. One more time, inhale up. Exhale back to a place you can sustain. Bring the hands together and bring elbow to opposite thigh for a chair twist. Back through center, come up and then come back down. Hands come together once again and over, twist to the other side. Back through center and rise up. Bring the feet wide. Toes are out to about 45 degrees. Arms come up the sides, then come forward, pushing the air down as the knees bend and hands come across the thighs and push back. Straighten the legs, arms come up, forward, and across the thighs. 2 more times. For the mice, it's a night like any summer night. Fruit and grain, a time of abundance. And come back up. We're going to do clasped hand breathing. So bringing the hands back, clasped behind the buttocks. Inhale. Exhale as clasped hands push forward. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Exhale back. 2 more times. Inhale back and exhale forward. Inhale up and exhale back. Keep the hands clasped there behind the buttocks as knees bend and hips bend, just about equal to each other. Palms might turn towards the outside as you come into Yoga Mudra. Arms rise just as far as shoulders and wrists, hips can bear, and come up. Always treasuring the body just as it is right now. We'll do that 2 more times. And rise back up. Bring hands so that the forearms cross and fingers just hook over the shoulders. So I'm not really bringing them back very far. This is just to slacken the chest and to let it relax and soften from the strain that we put on it. So we're opening it, but at the same time, resting those muscles. 1 more breath here. Then turning so that you're facing the top of your mat, we're going to do a pyramid. So 1 foot is forward and 1 foot is back on narrow railroad tracks, all toes forward, bringing the hips so that they're facing the front of the mat. Hands clasped below the buttocks once again. Inhale, reach up through the crown. Exhale as torso comes parallel to the floor or forward, and the front knee is a little bit soft, but pressing into both feet as you come up and come over once again. Then the third time you come over, let the torso come down to whatever level is right for the body. And inhale with a soft knee up. Bring hands together in front of you with steeple fingers. So keeping the same foot position with steeple fingers pointing up like a laser up towards the ceiling. Gaze rises, and then bringing that point down across the wall, across the floor, and perhaps touching the floor or the foot. And coming back up, keeping some weight in the back foot as well as the front foot. And bring the hands around and feet together. Now we're going to come into warrior one. One foot is forward and one is back a little farther than before, with the front knee bent right over the ankle and hips aligning back towards the front of the mat. Adapt as you need to here. We'll come into open-hearted warrior with hands behind the body and fingers wide, palms open, chest open, and shoulder blades resting together in a relaxed manner. This time of abundance for the mice and people, nobody dies, nobody goes hungry. No sound except the roar of the wheat. Bring hands to the hips, press down on the hips as you lift up through the torso. Raise the gaze, tuck the nape of the neck in, relax down through the spine, relax through the jaw and the throat. Then rising through the mid-sternum as arms then arch up, helping that whole body to reach up through the mid-sternum. Weight through both feet, strong through the hips. One last inhale here and exhale down. Let's do that one more time. Thumbs on the sacrum in the back, pressing down, lifting up, lifting the gaze, tucking the base of the neck, soft through the jaw, lifting through the mid-sternum and bringing the arms up. One last inhale and exhale down. Switch the feet and we'll come into pyramid on the other side. So feet aren't quite so separated. They're on railroad tracks and all toes are forward. Hands clasped behind, front knee a little soft. Inhale up through the roof of the mouth. Exhale forward, stretching the torso forward and over the mat. Inhale back up. Exhale over. Inhale up. And exhale over to whatever level you would like to. Bring the belly down towards the thigh a bit. And inhale up. Hands come out in front into steeple fingers. Fingers rise up, your laser point up towards the ceiling, cutting across the ceiling, down the wall, across the floor, to whatever point it comes to. And bringing it back up, front knee is a little soft. One more time. Keep some weight in the back foot as you rise. And bring arms down. The back foot comes back a little farther and opens to 30 degrees. Or finding what works for you with that torque in the back leg, bringing the pelvis in line with the front of the mat. Open the hands, opening the heart, relaxing through the shoulder blades, even as you lift up through the spine. Hands come to hips, press down, lift up through torso, tuck the base of the neck, relax through the throat, eyes rise, rise through the sternum, and arms arch up. Release down. We'll do it one more time. One last inhale. And exhale down. Now at the front of the mat, come into mountain pose once again. Inhale as arms rise, and exhale as hands come down. Jump back into a plank, or just walk back into a plank. Weight in the mounds of the thumbs, and collarbone wide, strong through the shoulders. Push up into downward dog. You can always bring knees down if you need to. Come forward into plank. And come up into downward dog. Stretch back, knees can be soft. Then coming down onto the knees, we're going to come onto forearms and clasp hands. So we have hands clasped and forearms are supporting our body as we tuck the toes and raise the hips once again into dolphin. So a forearm downward dog. Press into the arms, press back along the spine and up into the hips, feeling the energy coming up through the inner thighs. Now come down into a plank, a forearm plank. Then let the knees come down, and we're going to come into a side plank on the forearm. So you can have the underleg bent, or you can have both legs extended out, either way. Finding some version of the side plank. Perhaps taking one dip down with the hand under the armpit and coming up. Then come back through the dolphin plank on the forearms and roll over to the other side for a side plank on this side. Again, you can always bend that leg in the middle for some extra support or bring it out. You might bring the hand down under the armpit and then come back into a child's pose with knees wide and feet together and arms extended out in front of you. Relax through the hips, through the stomach. Relax through the shoulders. Then bring the feet into a frog pose so that you have the knees at 90 degrees and ankles at 90 degrees, if that works for you. Bring the arms up along the edges of the mat, hips rise and chest goes down towards the mat, allowing for a stretch, the heart coming down towards the earth. Then come back, bring the hips back in the direction of the heels. You go back and forth as feels good for you here. Big stretch through the hips. Then walk the hands back, bringing the torso up. Bring the legs around so that you are coming back into a sitting position. We're going to come into Lotus. haven't done this for a while, we bring the legs, the knees are wide with heels not touching but close to each other. And then the arms come in between the legs and wrap inside the thighs and out around the calves. So we're in this kind of position. And we raise the legs, if you'd like, coming back on the soft tissue behind the sits bones. Extend back from sits bones up through the spine a bit, widening through the collarbone. One more breath here. Then widen the legs, holding the calves, shins. We're going to come towards up boat, so legs come together and hands can give some support under the thighs, just above the knees. Stretch back through the spine. If you'd like to have the arms open on the sides, palms up. You can always have the toes down also, with arms up or our hands giving support. Lots of different options here in this up boat position for 3, 2, and 1. Bring the legs down. Stretch the legs out in front of you. Bring the arms to cactus. Inhale. Exhale forward. Knees are soft. Just come forward a few inches. Chest towards toes. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale up. And this time, letting the hands come wherever they fall. Soft knees. Strong through the belly to support the back as it comes into an easy C shape. Coming into that place of wind and mice. And inhale back up. Cross the knees and roll forward on the knees, bringing hands to the mat in front of you. One foot comes between the hands and one foot reaches back. So one foot forward, coming into a lunge stretch. Back here. So a lunge stretch with one foot in front of with the other heel reaching back. Then bring one hand, the outer hand, front hand, over inside that front foot and open up. The shoulder going against the inside of the knee and the other arm reaching up. Aware of that slight twist, the opening of the ribs towards the front. We're going to come from here up into a warrior 2. So if you'd like to bring the top arm down for a little support from both hands, as you turn the foot, come up onto the knee, and however you can, bring yourself up to a warrior 2 position. With the front leg bent right over the ankle, finding your width that is right for the body you inhabit. Make sure that the body is facing forward. If the front toe needs to turn in a bit, that's fine if you need to adapt in that way. Open through the chest and arms reach out. Gaze turns, but then make sure that that chest is coming towards the front. Turn the hands, let the shoulder blades relax down the back. Turn them back. Feel the grounding down through feet. Strength in inner thighs and glutes. One more breath here. Then bending front arm coming down over the front thigh, other arm coming up and over into side angle. The bottom hand might come down along the shin or even come down towards the earth. Nice long stretch here. If you've come down, you can bring that forearm up on the thigh once again as you come up. and up into dancer. Back hand down, knee, perhaps thigh, knee, or down onto the shin, reaching up towards the sky. Then come back into warrior two. Feel that grounding down through the feet once again. Perhaps looking forward for a moment to bring the rib cage so that it's straight towards the front, then turning the neck. Feeling the twist in the neck and strengthening the neck and shoulders. Bring hands onto the waist and turn the feet. Then turning the hips, the hands come down around the front foot, coming back down into lunge stretch. Front foot in between the hands and the heel reaching back. One more breath here. The outside hand comes inside that front foot and the other arm opens up. The top hand comes down. Both hands might give support as you bring one hand up to the knee and come up to warrior two, finding your way in the best way for your body. Reaching out through fingertips, bringing the rib cage to be forward and turning the neck. Opening the palms, relaxing down through the spine and turning back. Feel the breath. Feel the awareness. Front arm comes down onto the thigh. Stretch over. Perhaps that hand comes along the side of the shin, the calf. If you come down, bring the forearm back up and over into dancer. Or sky gazing warrior. Back into warrior two. Rib cage towards the front and neck, bringing the gaze over the fingertips. Bring the hands into the waist. Feet come pigeon-toed. Hands come to hip creases. Come forward. Knees are soft. Hands come down. Dangle down. Lower back, middle back, neck. Bring hands flat against the floor in the middle. Bring the feet in a bit, bend the knees, and come down onto your buttocks to a seated position. Bring your legs wide. And bring the opposite hand over to the thigh or to the floor beyond the thigh, coming into a twist. Breathing up and down through the spiral of the spine. Then coming around to the same on the opposite side, hand beside, on or beside the thigh. Come back to the original side. Come down onto your elbows. Let the hip rise and the feet go over to the side. Stay with the awareness as hands touch and perhaps the forehead comes down onto the hands. Push up through the hands, roll over to the other side, come on to the elbows, Hip rises, feet roll. Relax through the abdomen, along the sides of the waist. Easing and softening with the breath. Let head come down onto hands. Pressing through the hands, come up and we'll come down into a lying position. Let the whole body stretch along the floor, along the earth. Bones become heavy. Gravity pulling the bones of the skull, the shoulder blades, the arms, the hands, the hips. Bones coming down towards the earth, leg bones, the feet, the toes. Deepen the feeling of gravity in the belly. Feeling that pulse within the body, deep in the belly. Relaxing down through bones, the marrow of the bones, the deep belly. Perhaps feeling the pulse of the belly in the pulse of the soles of the feet. The pulse or energy in the palms of the hands. The pulse of the heart. Lengthen the breathing and bring some movement to fingers and toes. Roll wrists and ankles. Bring the knees up and give them a hug. A few more moments in this centered place that gives us strength to meet the day. And then rolling over, we'll come up to a brief sitting position. May we be safe. May we be spacious in our bodies and our hearts. May we be humble in our abundance. And may we hear the hunger in the wind. Namaste. So good to practice with you. I will not be here next week, but I'll be here 2 weeks from today.
Not next week.
Enjoy the abundance of summer.
Yes.
Be at peace.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.